Thank you. First of all, Bobby, honored to talk to you. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So, Bobby, in a recent interview, your SummerSlam opponent, Goldberg, said that while he is proud of you and what you've accomplished, he is still not a fan of your character. Now, what are your honest thoughts on Goldberg's own character? And do you really intend to end his career at SummerSlam?
You know what? A lot of times when people go out and do these interviews, they start saying things that they don't actually mean. You know what? As far as Goldberg, I am a fan of Goldberg from way back when. I thought Goldberg was incredible. And even now, standing in the ring, hearing him come out, crowd going crazy. Goldberg still has that it factor. He's still Goldberg. He's still a huge name in this wrestling business. But as he says, maybe he's not a fan of my character because I'm on top. You know, that's the hardest thing. I posted something on my Instagram not too long ago, or I think it was a day or two ago, and it just showed the respect that we had from each other at a certain period of time. But since I had this title, you know, my friends became my enemies. And right now, since he is now my enemy, the dislike is starting to build. And like I said before, I'm ready to defend this title against anybody. And I'm not going to give him a second chance. So when he comes out there, I'm not going just to beat him because I'm in the part of the hurt business. I'm going in there to hurt him. I'm going to send him away, and he's not going to come back.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gold. Thank you.
Let's come next to Dan Marland at Sport Bible. And if you just unmute, there we go. Go ahead.
Hey, Bobby. Great to speak to you. I just wanted to ask, last year we spoke to MVP, and MVP said that, you know, this time next year you will be WWE champion. That's happened. Do you think MVP is one of the most influential people you've ever met in your career? You've worked together in the past, you work together now. Do you think he's had greater influence on you than anyone else?
Man, MVP is more than that. I mean, MVP is a good friend of mine, first and foremost. And that's how when we got together, the synergy that he and I have is hard to beat, man. If you think about it, across the board, you compare us to any duo in the wrestling business. And it's one of those things where when we started the Hurt business, I say this over and over again, it was sometimes you have to believe in somebody else's belief in you. And I believed in what he believed in me. And we saw it. He made me believe it. We saw it and saw it and saw it. So we knew it was going to happen. We just had to work towards getting it. And with that being said, I think MVP has the ability to use the Hurt business to bring everybody up to the level that they need to be. You know, we're scouting some other people that we want to bring into the Hurt business. But right now, all the focus is on that WWE championship. And he was a huge component in me getting that WWE championship.
Cheers.
Let's come next to David Ramps at TV Movie in Germany.
Hey, Bobby, thank you for having time for the interview.
My pleasure, man.
So how do you mentally prepare for such a big match? Like, did the preparation maybe change over the years?
No way, man. I've been like, this is what I try to tell people all the time. I've been in combat my entire life. I started wrestling back in the 7th grade. When you talk about wrestling, I'm not talking about doing independent promotions. I'm talking about actually doing the amateur wrestling. I went through the amateur wrestling circuits. I fought MMA. I've done boxing. I've done kickboxing. I've did jiu-jitsu. I've done every form of combat. So the preparation has never changed for me. A lot of people look at some of my pictures right now and they're like, damn, you look the same as you did when you were wrestling in college. You look the same as you did when you were at the Olympic Training Center. You look the same as when you first came in to the WWE. So with that being said, my training has never changed. Of course, this is a big matchup. But is it bigger than Drew? Is it bigger than Keith Lee? Is it bigger than all the other ones that are going to come after this? I think they're all the same. I think Goldberg has a little bit more fan base than some of the other competitors that I had, but he's just a guy. He's not the almighty. I'm going to take him out. So the preparation is good. I mean, right now, I'm just taking a break from the gym. I've been at the gym this morning, yeah, I'm preparing, but that's what I've always done. So it's like I don't think that I can prepare anymore. I just think that I got to keep doing what I'm doing because it got me to the dance, and it's going to keep that title on me forever.
Let's come to Michael Morales.
Hey, Bobby, how are you doing today?
Fantastic.
Thank you for your time. This is basically a two-part question. The first one is, how does being a father help you become a better performer? And how connected are you to your Latin American roots?
Oh, good. Love it. The first part is being a father helps me prepare, helps me do everything because I have mouths to feed. I mean, that's the first part. My kids are my motive kid. I do everything around my kids. Like this morning, my son had to get up at 7 a.m. So that means I had to get up at 5 a.m. so that I can get my cardio in before he got up, because the father part is the most important part to me. So I got up at 5 a.m. I hit a hard cardio. And then I took my son and my daughter to school. After I took my son and daughter to school, later on, I waited, and then I got my second workout in. So I base everything around them. Sometimes at night when I put them to bed, I just kind of tell them good night, and then I go hit another workout because they're my motivating factor. And whenever I have hard times, whenever training gets a little tough, I just kind of remember what I'm doing it for. And I can always pick it up a little bit more. So that's the first part. And then my Latin American heritage. I talk with my dad all the time about it because my family's from Panama. And when I won the WWE championship, they sent me a Panamanian flag, and everybody from Panama was rejoicing because, you know what, I'm the first Panamanian world champion also. So there's a lot of things to respect and a lot of things to stand up for because of that. So, of course, wherever my backing is from, I'm going to represent them the best that I can. And my Panamanian heritage is something that I'm very proud of.
Next time, next to Marco at Corriere dello Sport.
Hey, Bobby, thank you for your time. My question is, what was the most difficult aspect of the transition from wrestling world to MMA world, and vice versa?
For me, there's no difference. A fight's a fight. The only thing that I had to change is the outward and inward. Because, of course, professional wrestling, we have the crowd there, and we cater a little bit more towards that crowd for the entertainment aspect. And when you're fighting, you got to be more focused. You got to stay in the game, stay in the fight. And it's not about, putting on the show. It's about getting the job done. So for me, I think there wasn't too big of a difference because ultimately you got to win. You got to go out there and win. So my preparation stayed the same because the way the wrestling is now, it's more athletic. You have you don't just have the big guys that can't do anything. You have guys like Keith Lee doing moonsaults off the top rope. So of course you got to have a little bit more athleticism as a big guy. So my preparation stays the same. I still use my same strength and conditioning coach. I still put in my cardio like I was doing when I was fighting. I'm still working with my boxing coach. The only thing that I do is I've maybe put in a little bit more calories to keep my weight up a little bit more with professional wrestling. Outside of that, everything else stays the same.
Let's come next to Ashlyn in South Africa.
Hi, Bobby. How are you doing?
Fantastic, man.
Okay, I just wanted to know, it's quite evident that your career has started to peak at this stage. So how are things different compared to 10 years ago in terms of your preparations before events and your attitudes towards work?
Well, I think part of the preparation for me is, since I'm a little bit older, 10 years, I put on a little age to where I do a little bit more rehab work. So I'm trying to take care of my body a little bit more for the longevity. I don't think I've peaked yet. There's still a lot of things that I can improve on and get better on. So as the years go by, as the days go by, I'm always going to get better.
Let's come next to Matty Paddock in the UK.
Hello, Bobby.
Yo,
I wanted to talk to you about kind of your title reign in total, if I might, just for a second, because as a young wrestling fan, when I used to watch, I always used to think that if a champion could carry the title maybe from a WrestleMania all the way through to maybe a SummerSlam, that they were kind of an established or a proper champion, if you'll pardon the phrase. Now, in the modern era, where so many title reigns can be quite short and quite fleeting, it really feels like you have something now. I just wondered whether you view yourself as a fully established and WWE champion that will be remembered for a long time now. I just kind of your thoughts on that and how you think it might be pictured in years to come.
I think this is my biggest thing. When I first got the title, you're exactly right. When I first got the title, it was one of those things where there's been guys that held that title for just a short period of time, and they were in and out, and you kind of don't even remember them as a champion. So, and that was so before WrestleMania. It's like Drew's coming and Drew's coming hard. So I have one or two things to do. I can lose to Drew and just be kind of one of those forgotten champions, or I can beat Drew at WrestleMania and then I can become established. And I think that's what it was. When I beat Drew, that established me as one of the top tier guys. And one thing that I'm going to say for the years going forward, I'm taking credibility, I'm taking titles, I'm taking everything away from some of the people that I want to beat. So like you have the Goldbergs, you have some of these guys that come back for just here and there to just go and challenge for the title. I think I'm going to be one of those guys. When I'm retired, whether it's 5, 6, 7 years from down the road, I think I'll be one of those guys that'll be able to come back and be able to defend for that title again, or go after that title again. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, is having the ability to be able to come back afterwards, because I established myself now as a true champion, a true person with that world title that, 10 years from now, you'll see me coming back. You'll hear that Hurt Business music come in, and you'll see me and MVP walk out there. And whenever you hear that, it'll be, oh shit, here he comes. He's back.
Let's come next to Karan at Hindustan Times.
Hi, Bobby. Thank you for taking time out to speak to us.
My pleasure, man.
So I just want to ask you if I'm correct, and please correct me if I'm wrong. No one has yet kicked out of your full Nelson move. But at the same time, Goldberg has always been this superhero character who never taps out. So if we could we potentially see, Bobby Lashley tapping out Goldberg at SummerSlam, and if that happens, how do you think it will help your career trajectory?
Oh, damn. You know what? I can't change the focus of where I want to go. Right now, Goldberg has gotten to the point of like just sheer pissing me off. So right now, it's not going to be the point of breaking some kind of record of making him tap out or anything like that. Like what I want to do is I want to send a huge statement to Goldberg and let him know what I'm really about. So whether it's tapping him out, whether it's hurting him, whether I'm putting him away, I'm going to make a huge statement this weekend with Goldberg and letting him know that you don't just come back and challenge the Almighty. You got to make your mind up. You got to be prepared. And I don't think he's ready for it.
Let's come next to Leonardo at El Comercio.
Hi, Bobby. It's Leonardo Torres from Peru. Hope you're well. Bobby, what does it mean for you to face Goldberg in a pay-per-view like SummerSlam, and what will be your plan to beat him? Thank you.
Man, Peru. That's amazing. That's one of the places on my bucket list, first of all. So I think it's awesome. First of all, I guess Goldberg. What's my plan? My plan is to go out there and do what I've done every day, every week, is to go out there and make a statement. That's what I want to do. I want to make a statement. Like the last interviewer said, I have an opportunity to really cement myself in the history by beating some of these icons like the Goldbergs of the business. And that's what I want to do this weekend. It's not one of those things where I want to barely beat him. I want to make a definitive statement and showing that I am the true WWE champion. And I'm not that guy that you can go and spend part-time or come in and yank the title away. That's not me. You got to be ready. You got to be ready for a challenge. And this weekend, I'm going to show everybody, show the world, the whole WWE universe, that I'm the true champion. I'm the true WWE champion. And I'm not losing that title until I'm ready to retire.
We'll come next to Nicholas at Mundo Deportivo.
Hi, Bobby. It's a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
After SummerSlam, we've been the Road to Survivor Series. Have you talked about the possibility of facing Roman Reigns or John Cena in the future? And how could we difference your reign on Raw with the one Reigns has on SmackDown?
What was the second part of that question?
The second part is how could we difference your reign on Raw with the one Reigns has on SmackDown? Your reign with the WWE Championship and Roman Reigns reign with the Universal title. Excuse me.
First of all, I love what Roman's doing right now, and everybody says it, and there's no reason to not say it because he's on fire. So it's going into Survivor Series. You know, I am excited. I'm excited about every possibility there. I don't know what that possibility is going to be, but I'm excited about it. The one thing that I said at one point in time, I said, how cool would it be is if it doesn't have to be me against Roman. It could be Roman, you pick your team and I can pick my team, because I think a lot of people have been talking about who's the stronger faction, whether it's SmackDown or Raw, and we can see a Survivor Series. I think that's one thing that we should really take a look at. Have Roman pick 4 people and I can pick 4 people. And if you want to fantasy book it, I think we should fantasy book it. See who he's going to pick, because I'm going to bring an all-star cast. I'm going to bring the likes of Drew, Damian Priest is up there, Keith Lee is up there, Sheamus up there, Randy Orton's up there, AJ's up there, Riddle's up there. I mean, there's so many guys. Elias is up there. I can bring Ricochet in. I can bring Ali in. I can bring Drew Gulak in. I have so many people that I can put on my team to go and challenge the SmackDown roster that I'm excited to see what we do when it gets to that point. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if I'm going to have a singles match, or I don't know if it's going to be team against team. I just know that as we go forward, these pay-per-views are only going to get better. And I'm excited to see what we have in store coming in for the future.
Let's come next to Matt Connell.
Hey, Bobby, thank you very much for your time. I've just been watching the Bump stream on the WWE YouTube channel, and they revisited, because obviously they got good old Goldberg on there as a guest today. They revisited a clip where Goldberg rated your spear a 2 out of 10, and thought would give you the opportunity to return the favor and rate his spear.
His spear is a 10 out of 10. And the reason why I say that is because when he hits me with it and I kick out of it, it's going to show that I am invincible. If he says mine's a 2, then when I hit him with the 2 spear and then he stays down, he's going to show how weak he is. So that's all I got to say about that. Mine can be whatever he wants to say, but I tell you what, everybody that I've hit with that spear stayed down. If he hits me with his spear, I will get up.
Well said.
Let's come next to Vicente at Marca in Spain.
WWE champion Bobby Lashley, how are you doing?
Sensational, man.
Well, talking about SummerSlam, I would like to ask you about one of the personalities this summer. Is Gable Stevenson, gold medalist in Tokyo. Now apparently he needs to choose between WWE and UFC. But is there anything you would like to do or to say to convince him to choose WWE over UFC?
Well, I tell you what, here's the thing. That kid has so much potential to do whatever he wants to do right now. So I got to take my hat off to him, because I watched him at the World Championship at the Olympics, and he looked incredible. So I'm not trying to like pull him this way, because he's young. He's 21 years old. He can go fight if he wants to and get that out of his system, or that might be his calling, or he can come to WWE. But I can tell you this, if he does come to WWE, the way that the smart choice would be for him to do is to give me a call, and maybe we can bring him into the Hurt business so we can help out his career. If he comes to WWE and he's not a part of the Hurt business, then he's going to fall like everybody else, and he'll just be a second-rate guy. So that's his options. Either come to the WWE, join the Hurt business, and we can assure him that he's going to be in the right place and in the right hands, or he can go to the UFC and kind of try his hand at it. I think he's really siding more towards coming here with WWE. So I'm sure that he knows that he has a potential to come see me, and we can probably help out his career and join the Hurt Business. I'll send something out to him. I might have MVP reach out to him and kind of let him know his options. But that would be the best option for him, is to join the Hurt Business. We'll throw a nice little suit on him, dress him up a little bit, clean him up a little bit, and make him a professional and put a title under him.
Let's come to Carlos Gasco.
Hi, Bobby. Thank you for your time today.
Hello.
My question is, after leaving WrestleMania as a champion, if you're leaving SummerSlam as a champion, who is next for Bobby Lashley?
I don't think it's a case of who's next for Bobby Lashley. I think it's whoever has the opportunity to build themselves up and get up there. I mean, there's a lot of people that are kind of like waiting in the woodworks that you got to kind of keep your eye on. There's a guy that's holding the briefcase that might try to sneak out there and try to get something. So there's that person. And then there's all kinds of people on the roster. I keep listing off the guys on our roster, and the guys on our roster are tough. I'm excited about it because if you look at it, let's start throwing some names out there. You have Randy Orton, that's been sitting there, that's been a multiple-time world champion. You have AJ Styles, multiple-time world champion. You have Riddle with a full head of steam behind him right now. You have Damian Priest with a full head of steam right there, right now. You have Elias that has potential to become a world champion. You have Ali, who has potential to be world champion. You have Ricochet, potential to be world champion. You have a Drew Gulak as a sleeper that's a potential world champion. You have Keith Lee, potential world champion. You have all these guys on this roster. Hell, you have Shelton Benjamin, potential world champion. You have all these guys that have that potential to be a world champion. So I don't know who it's going to be. It depends on those guys. Who's willing to step up? Who's ready to step up? Because that's what it's about in this business. It's about finding your time and taking the best of it. But I think whoever steps up, I think one person they're going to have to get through is Drew, because Drew is that guy that's been dying to get this title back. And I think whoever wants to get the title back, that's the person that they have to beat. So whoever can step up and take out Drew is the person that'll probably have that title shot. And I welcome that person. I beat Drew, so they got to beat Drew in order to get to me.
We've got time for a couple of final questions. So let's first come to Riju.
Hey, Bobby. Greetings from India. Hope you're doing well.
Yes.
Fantastic, man. So I have spoken to you during your trips to India. And I mean, the thought of you being paired with Paul Heyman has been brought up a lot of times before this. Obviously, you're creating magic with MVP right now. But do you think a Paul Heyman and Bobby Lashley partnership could also be great?
I have a lot of respect for Paul Heyman. I think Paul Heyman is one of the greatest things in the wrestling business. However, MVP is one of the greatest things in the wrestling business also. There's no reason to make any changes away from MVP. Me and MVP have a synergy that hasn't been seen in professional wrestling, I don't think ever, because we're not just a duo. We're friends. We've been making some big moves. We started the Hurt Business. There's all kinds of things that we've done. So I don't think there's even an opportunity or a chance to move to anybody else. I respect Paul Heyman. I think Paul Heyman is, like I said, one of the greatest of the wrestling business ever. But you got to put MVP's name up there also, because he's managing his first time going in a role as a advisor, manager, however you want to call it. He's already got a world title and he's already got tag team titles under his belt. And whoever else he brings in will find that magic. So that's what I got to say about that. I'm not going anywhere. Me and MVP are a lock for both of us until our career is done.
Let's come finally to Alex McCarthy at TalkSport.
Hey, Champ, how you feeling?
I feel like $1 million, maybe
you
$1
should.
billion,
As you
because
should.
we've already passed the millions.
I just wanted to say, man, I really enjoyed the Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold. I thought it was awesome on the network. And it kind of got me thinking, back to the Vince McMahon feud, do-rag Vince, and all that good stuff with yourself. Man, you've grown so much in the company now, so much time has passed since then. You've kind of, graduated to the position many of us always believed you would. And I guess the relationship with Vince McMahon develops along with that, right? Like the trust and being so involved. Like, just talk to me about how the relationship with Vince has grown from do-rag Vince days to having you as the champion of his company.
Well, because you know what, when I had that feud with Vince and Shane and the whole family, I learned more about the wrestling business. My first run in the wrestling business was amazing. Because if you just think about some of the people that I had the opportunity to get in the ring with, from the Fitz to Fit Finley to Booker T's to JBLs to William Regals, the Umagas, the Big Shows, like all these guys that I had an opportunity to get in the ring with. And then on top of it, being able to be in the ring with Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, you can't learn more about the business than wrestling and competing and fighting and having a feud with the person that the business is about. And that's Vince McMahon and the McMahon family. So I learned so much from him at that time. And you know what? Vince is not going to get in the ring with somebody that he doesn't have trust for. If he didn't have trust in me, then I would never have the opportunity to have the feud with him. So he gave me that opportunity, and the feud was incredible. When he had the do-rag and everything that we did in that time, I learned so much. And I think at that point in time, he gave me his trust, and I ran with it. So I think right now I always had that trust with him because Vince knows the kind of guy I am. He knows what I'm about. I mean, Vince is the type of person that works his ass off, and it shows from what he's done with the business. And he sees that in me, and he's always seen that in me. I'm that kind of person like that, that just busts his ass. I'm that person that you can put in your company that you always know is going to do the right thing and always go out there and bust his ass and give it 100%. And that's what I've always done. So I think Vince understands that, and I think that's why I'm the champion to this day.